Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. It was so good to talk to everyone individually this week, whether that was in a video conference or email or Canvas or any other of our new online means that we are using. It's just great to hear from everybody, and I hope that you are all continuing to do well. If you haven't uploaded your outline yet, please just go ahead and do that so that I can give you a grade. It's okay if it's not complete, that's not going to harm your grade. I know this is a work in progress. I just need something on Canvas so I can give you a check mark. Um, I also would like to encourage you to use the template I sent out of the outline as a tool to help you move on to the next stages of writing. So as you find sources for your annotated bib, just look at your outline. See if you've already found a source, see where you can plug it in. Or look at your outline and say, oh, here's a hole that I need to fill. I'm going to find a source that specifically talks about this. So you're not just like randomly Googling your topic. You're not just like gun control, right? Because you're going to get a million sources that may or may not be relevant to the specific thing you're arguing about. And so if you keep this outline updated and organized as you go, the process of shifting it from an outline into a paper is going to be a lot smoother for you. So this video is going to be pretty short because there are several other video resources I sent you that I would like for you to watch. So before you finish this video, please watch the 2 mini lectures from Dr. Hoover that I sent you and the Zotero tutorial. Those are going to be really helpful to you. So go watch those. I'll be here. Welcome back. So your annotated bibs are going to be due on Canvas on Friday the 17th. If you need more time, that is absolutely fine. Please just talk to me about it. As I mentioned, I'm not going to give you a penalty for turning things in late. I just need to know that when things are coming so that I can help you adjust and so you don't get too far behind to the point that you're not going to be able to finish the paper. But again, if you talk to me, I will accommodate you however I can. And if at any point in the process of the rest of the semester writing this paper, you need to have another conference with me, let me know. We'll set it up. It'll be great. So now that you've listened to Dr. Hoover explain how to go about the process of finding sources, what constitutes a good source, how to find help and resources on the Baylor Library website, all that good stuff, and you've learned how to keep track of your research with Zotero, I'm going to talk you through the process of writing an annotated bibliography. So I've actually invited my associate here today to conduct a Q&A about annotated bibliographies with me. So please give a warm welcome to my associate Emerson.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. I always love being a guest on your YouTube channel. My first question is, what is an annotated bibliography?
That's such a great question. So let's break it down. We have 2 words, annotated bibliography. So a bibliography is a list of all the sources that you consult throughout the writing process. This is different from a works cited page because you don't necessarily cite all of the sources you look at throughout the research process. A bibliography is like, here's every single thing that I looked at. A works cited is, here are the things that I have actually cited with in-text citations in my paper. An annotation is the process of taking notes about something as you study it. So an annotated bibliography is a list of your sources that you have consulted throughout your research and your notes about if and how they will contribute to your paper in the long run.
Okay, so how many sources do I need to include in my annotated bib, and like what kind of sources should they be?
So at minimum, you need to include 15 sources in your annotated bib. You only have to cite 12 for your final paper, but most of you will probably end up citing more than 12. Even if you only cite 12 in the final paper, though, the annotated bib must include at least 15. As you research, you're going to come across articles or books or news articles or anything like that that are not helpful to you or don't contribute to your argument in the way that you thought they would. That's okay. That's part of the research process. And it still matters that you have looked at those things because they've informed the way that you are thinking about your argument. So you can note in your annotated bib why a particular article is not going to be included in your paper. And in the long run, once you're actually writing, you may decide against including pieces from your annotated bib in the final paper, or even adding sources that you didn't have at the time of writing your annotated bib. This is all fine. That's how the process of research works. The purpose of this assignment is to get you thinking about how to do helpful and organized research that is thoughtful. It's not just, I need 15 sources, here's the first 15 that I found, because that is likely not setting you up to make a good argument or a specific argument as like the one that you have already laid out in your outline. As for what kinds of sources you're supposed to use, please refer back to Dr. Hoover's video for a more in-depth discussion. In general, though, you're going to want to stick with mostly non-biased academic and professional sources for your facts, and then pull in things like newspaper articles to help you discuss the politics and the rhetoric surrounding your issue. So, for example, someone in our class is writing about abortion. You're probably not going to want to get your facts from Fox News or HuffPost. But you can cite those two things and say, here's how right wing media is talking about this issue. Here's how left wing media is talking about this issue. Here's the terms, the rhetoric, the arguments surrounding this issue. Here's how that applies to my argument. But you don't just say Fox News says this, that is a fact, or HuffPost says this, that is the fact. And so for this assignment, you should not include more than 2 sources that are content that's originally published online. So obviously you're going to be accessing everything online because of our current situation. But I'm talking about things like government websites or advocacy groups or things like that that are online content. Those are reputable websites and that's fine, but no more than 2 of those. The bulk of your citations need to come from academic sources and books and journal articles and things like that.
Okay, so like how do I format an annotated bib?
So, kind of like your New York Times assignments, you're going to start each individual entry with a properly formatted MLA citation. If you choose to use Zotero or other citation software, please check that your citations are correct. If you use EasyBib, I'm going to give you the stink eye. Don't use EasyBib. But Zotero is really good, but sometimes it doesn't grab all of the information it needs for a citation from the page. And so you can actually check in Zotero if like the author is blank on your entry on the actual like Zotero window, but you can see an author on the page. You can actually just fill that in on Zotero and it will include it into your citation. But always double check those. And then after the citation for each entry, you will have 2 75 to 100 word paragraphs about the source that you're talking about.
Okay, so I need 2 short paragraphs for each entry, but what exactly am I supposed to include in those paragraphs?
Great question, Emerson. So your first paragraph is going to be an objective summary of the source's content. So you're just going to tell me this is what the article is about. Here's some main ideas, main topics, main arguments, that kind of thing. Your second paragraph is your own personal analysis. So this is going to tell me how you plan to use this source in your paper. So talk about how it connects to other entries on your annotated bib, how reliable the source is, any biases you've noticed, how useful this article is, things like that. If you get into an article that you're planning to write an entry about and it seems helpful, but it turns out that it's not what you thought it was, it's not actually connected to your argument in the way you thought it was, something like that, that's fine. You can explain all of that in this paragraph, kind of leaving a reminder for yourself of why this article didn't work for you. But remember, you want the vast majority of the entries to be helpful and contribute to your paper. So really, you don't want more than 1 or 2 of like, oh, I was reading this, but it turns out I'm not going to use it.
Awesome. So like is there any other helpful information on the prompt I should use while I work on this assignment?
Another excellent question. Yes, you should always read the entire prompt carefully before you start any assignment. Um, but with this prompt in particular, if you look on the second page, you'll see examples of MLA citations for different types of sources and even a sample annotated bibliography entry that shows you how you are going to annotate your sources. Remember that if you have trouble figuring out how to cite something, you can always visit the Purdue OWL website to get information on how MLA works.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me. This is super helpful. I'm gonna go work on my assignment right now. Bye.
You are so welcome. And remember that if you have more questions or run into issues, please contact me or Priya. If your question is research related, I encourage you to contact a librarian first because they're going to be able to help you and connect you to the resources that you need in a way that's going to be more efficient and probably better resources that I'm going to be able to find for you. And so I hope everyone has a great week. I will see you on Zoom on Thursday and happy researching.